Okay, so we're going to be talking about bonsai trees and how it's important to make sure that you aren't polluting your environment to the max. We started off with food and wrappers and things of that nature. However, because of some cats, got a little messed up. So we decided to change it to chemicals. The reason why this is important because there's a lot of chemicals in our fertilizer, when it runs off into the waters or when we have any type of chemicals that make it into our actual habitats. So we're going to be comparing how dirt is different in the bad habitat versus the good habitat, how the use of washing powder and food coloring can affect your habitat. We're also going to talk about how different colored dirt means different things and what exactly happened to the worms. The next thing that we want to talk about in our project is how bonsai trees are found naturally. For a tree to be a bonsai tree, it just means it needs to be planted in a container. So that means that bonsai trees are really any kind of plant with a woodland base, which means a plant that kind of looks like a tree, essentially. What we did is that we took the two bonsai trees and we put it in the tank. But however, when we did our research, the birch tree, trees like the Oakland pinewood trees, they all classify as bonsai trees. Another thing that we looked at is the watering. When you water bonsai trees, it really depends on the size of the pot, the species of the tree, the soil, and the climate. Bonsai trees grow best when they're in direct sunlight and they've been watered once a week to 2 times a week. However, for our plants, for both the good and bad environment, we kept the abiotic factors the same, which means that we have the same amount of sunlight, the same amount of water. And the only thing that changed between the two plants were whether one plant got chemicals versus the other. The reason why for our chemicals we use food coloring and we use washing powder was because we didn't want to use bleach because it'd be too strong and it killed too fast. And we use food coloring because it takes in the positive effects, so which means that it takes in the phosphorus, the nitrogen, potassium, and few micronutrients and ignores the rest. The great thing about food coloring is the fact that it's added to water for plants sometimes, just so that the plant can take it through the stem and change the color of the leaves. So, when we realized this, we wanted both a positive and negative effect that would both impact the environment where you can see the pollution and also a negative effect that would destroy the environment. So we used the food coloring, used both red and blue so that you could see how it went through the environment. And if you pick up the dirt and you look through the dirt, you can actually see specks of red throughout the dirt. Another thing with the washing powder is that the washing powder destroyed it because much like bleach, it has a lot of phosphorus in it. And if you look at the amount of pollution that are in lakes and large bodies of waters, it comes from 50 to 75% of phosphorus, which comes from both bleach and washing powder because it is in our oceans. The reason why this is bad and the reason why we used it as a soil is because runoff has to come from somewhere. So if companies are dumping their bleach and they're dumping their washing powder leftovers and their excess into the lakes, which are killing not only the fish in the environment of the ocean, but then running off into the plants, this was our way of showing how damaging even washing powder and washing your clothes can really be. Bleach byproducts can also cause mutations and even extinction in wildlife species. So, by taking our washing powder and taking our food coloring and putting it in our bonsai tree bad environment, we are showing you how pollution really affects the environment. Not only does it have its positive sides like food coloring, but it also has its negative sides. And if you notice, you can see everywhere where the red is, there's been polluted. And we really wanted to embody how bad it is when you really try and harm your environment by washing clothes.